Here with UNAS Technology LLC. So today we're going to talk about class constructor, the second video of this series in constructors. So there's many ways to create in a class object, but we know we have to put the name of the class, and then the name of the object, and then the constructor. So we can have different type of constructors, some without parameter and other as a parameter. So we define here some constructors, like we have one with no parameters that could also be called a default constructor. Mostly when you don't have a constructor in the class, that you can use just this one. You don't need to declare it, but we are declaring here because we created other constructors. So in this constructor, like a second home, we're passing we have a parameter here in which is going to hold in a string value, which is going to be passed through the address. The address here, it's pretty much a class variable. So in this class second home, we have two class variables, and we have also, beside this constructor and those two class variables, we have this method which is named print what you have. And so what's going to happen, you have some logic here when you call this method. What's going to happen, it's going to go through this logic and check either if the address is non-null and the owner name is null, then it's going to print this. And it goes to the second, if the address name is non-null and the owner name is non-null, then it's going to print this line. And if both are null, then it's going to do whatever we have in the else statement. So let's run it and see what's going to happen. So we're going to uncomment this to see what's going to happen based on the object we created. So the print line here is just to separate the outputs between the first object and the second object. So let's run it and see what's happening. So I have nothing. The object address is null. This is the first object output, and this one is the second object output. Let's see, go to the first object output first. So we create the first object here and we call print what you have. Remember that we use this constructor where we're passing nothing. So it means when we create the objects, the first object of this class, these values are still null. None of them are having any value. So when we're calling print what we have, so it's gonna be here checking address is null. So definitely, since this one doesn't allow an address to be null, so it won't work. So you won't take this. You won't take this line. So here, address has to be non-null. Since address and other name are still null, this one, it won't work either. So it's gonna execute the else. That's why the first line here is have nothing, and it's gonna check after doing prints what we have. The program is going to the next line, so it's gonna print the object address is null because the address is null. Remember, because we created this object with this constructor that doesn't pass anything at all in the scope to none of these class variable, none of these the variable for second home class. So but let's check the second object. You see here we have something passed inside this constructor. So it's pretty much we're passing one string. It means it's gonna check here which constructor has only one parameter, this one. So we're creating actually the second object based on the second constructor, because it's admitting a string which we exactly what we pass here. It's a string type. So it's taking the address and then it's putting in the address. And whenever we're gonna be calling print what you have here, it's gonna be like checking all these conditions, which one is gonna match it. So we know already address now as a 4545 New York Street, and owner name is still null. So when we check the first condition, eventually 4545 is not null. This is right, and owner name is null. Then it's gonna print this line. So that's what we have here. We don't know the owner, but the address is 4545 New York Street, and it won't match this condition because this is met already. And since after printing going through this line, and it's gonna call this one, so it's saying the object address is whatever value we have inside the address. So the object address is 4545 New York Street. So a constructors can be we can have multiple constructor in the class, and that's what we're trying to accomplish, and then we can select the type of constructor that we can build or instantiate or create our objects and do what we're gonna do in the method. That's it. Thank you.